Wells Fargo, that is, just reported the worst mortgage number since the financial crisis of, you know when, 08, 09, zero hedge. When we reported Wells Fargo's quarter one earnings back in April, we drew readers' attention to one specific line of business, the one we dubbed the bank's bread and butter. You know, it seems like I remember doing a video on that. Probably, I mean, zero hedge, I probably did. Namely, mortgage lending, in which, as we then reported, was the biggest alarm, because as a result of rising rates, Wells Fargo residential mortgage applications and pipelines both tumbled, sliding just shy of the post-crisis lows recorded in late 2013. Then, a quarter ago, a glimmer of hope emerged for the America's largest traditional mortgage lender, which has since lost the top spot to alternative mortgage originators, as both mortgage applications and the pipeline posted a surprising, if modest, rebound. However, it was not meant to last, because buried deep in its presentation accompanying otherwise unremarkable quarter three results, Wells just reported that its bread and butter is once again missing. And in quarter three, 2018, the amount in the all-important Wells Fargo mortgage application pipeline shrank again, dropping to $22 billion, the lowest level since the financial crisis. Now, you know what I'm kind of hoping? That some of that drop for them is the American citizen saying, I've heard Wells Fargo's name, even on the mainstream news, so many times for wronging their customers. I can't believe you're still in business. I can't believe they haven't shut you down, the government. I'm not doing business with you anymore. I'll go to somebody else. I kind of hope at least a little bit of that is in there. Yet, while the mortgage pipeline has not been worse in a decade despite the so-called recovery, at least it has bottomed, what was more troubling is that it was Wells' actual mortgage applications, a forward-looking indicator on the state of the broader housing market and how it is impacted by rising rates. That was even more dire, slumping from $67 billion in quarter two to $57 billion in quarter three, down 22% year over year, and the lowest, again, since the financial crisis. And he says, incidentally, a topic we covered recently in mortgage refis tumbled the lowest since the financial crisis, leaving banks scrambling. Meanwhile, Wells' mortgage origination numbers, which usually trails the pipeline by 3 to 4 quarters, was nearly as bad, dropping $4 billion sequentially from $50 billion to $46 billion. And since this number lags the mortgage applications, we expect it to continue posting fresh post-crisis lows in the coming quarters actually, especially if rates continue to rise. That said, it wasn't all bad news for Wells, whose net interest margin managed to post a modest increase for the second consecutive quarter, rising to $12.5 billion. This is what Wells said. NIM of 2.94% was up 1 basis point, LQ driven by a reduction in the proportion of lower yielding assets. I don't even care. I'm not even reading that, skipping that. There was another problem facing Buffett's favorite bank. While true NIM or NIM, the secret of NIM, not quite, failed to increase, deposits costs are rising fast. And in quarter three, the bank was charged an average deposit cost of 0.47% on $907 million in interest-bearing deposits, nearly double what its deposits costs were a year ago. Just as concerning was the ongoing slide in the scandal-plagued bank deposits, which declined 3%, or $40 billion in quarter three, down $2.3 billion to $1.27 trillion. This was driven by consumer and small business banking deposits of $740.6 billion, down $13.7 billion, or 2%. But even more concerning was the ongoing shrinkage. Boy, I hate that happens. Getting a pool and it's a little chilly. In the company's balance sheet, as average loans declined from $944.3 billion to $939.5 billion, the lowest in years, and down $12.8 billion year over year, driven by lower commercial real estate loans, reflecting continued credit discipline. Discipline. What the hell is credit discipline? It's called we don't have the money. We can't make the payments, so we stop looking for property. We're going to stay put for now, thanks. That's how that goes. And finally, there was one chart showing the bank's overall consumer loan trends. These reveal that the troubling broad decline in credit demand continues, as consumer loans were down a total of $11.3 billion year over year across most product groups that they have. What these numbers reveal is that the average U.S. consumer can barely afford to take out a new mortgage at a time when rates continue to rise, if not that much higher from recent all-time lows. It also means that if the Fed is truly intent on in engineering a parallel shift in the curve of 2 to 3%, the U.S. can kiss its domestic housing market goodbye. And that is why I've been doing these videos for so long, tracking this stuff, bringing it to you. Hey guys, another housing thing. Hey, mortgage thing. Hey, rates, guys. Car loans, 8, 9, 10-year loans now, guys. The system doesn't implode in one day. Okay? It takes a while. And I'll be the first to admit, boy, when I started this, 10 plus years ago, 2005, I didn't do the videos till 2009. So on YouTube, let's say 8 or 9 years roughly. I didn't think this much time would go by. I thought we'd see worse things quicker, but who's to really say? Who's really knows? Stuff happens, and it happens at a pace that I guess it happens at, whatever that may be. It's not the same every time. So it's just nice to know that, okay, we can see some factors that play a role here, and we can kind of figure out, okay, it looks like it's about to happen again. Okay. And rising rates, not good. Now, Trump's over here bad-mouthing the Federal Reserve recently. Rising rates, what are they doing, Are we about to see them backing off again all of a sudden? Oh, rates are back down again. Oh, all-time lows. Holy crap, mortgage rate, 2.5% for a mortgage? I mean, could you imagine that? But who knows, we'll see. All I know is, again, this is in your face of right now the rates are rising. Housing costs have to come down. This is going to spell disaster for the housing market if this continues. It's that simple. Take care.